Let's talk about the strings on the guitar, okay? I like to use the saying, some elephants and donkeys grow big ears, starting with your low E string. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears, and that's your low E string. And then also, another popular one is Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, okay? So that way you know what your strings are. And Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. That's another good way. That's probably a little bit better, I would say, because sometimes people forget donkey or elephants and donkeys grow big ears. It's like sometimes I've noticed students can get confused with that. So anyway, so we got to get the tuning part down. Or, you know, like I said, find a good friend that plays, that can kind of get you in the ballpark. That's normally the hardest part. Like if you get a guitar and it's all out of tune, and it's hard to figure out where you're at. And then of course also, like I said, you'll always see someone, you know, selling a new guitar, and they'll say, you know, just put new strings on here, just tuned it, it's ready to go. Well, that's not going to matter, because you're going to have to tune it up anyways by the time you get it home. And especially here in Colorado with the way the weather changes. So you probably want to start off getting one of these tuners here. I just have this cheap Korg tuner. It's really easy to use. I think I paid only like $20 for it, and I've used it for years. It's been dropped and kicked around and still works good. And then you can get these phone amps. This is a phone amp that I have, and this is actually the same tuner that I have on my pedal board that I use. So this is a pretty good one. So the way it works is it just has a little light on there that you want it to. Let me get mine kind of somewhat in tune, and I'll show you. Wow, I really got this thing way out of tune. So let's talk a little bit about like if a note is sharp or flat. So when you're tuning your guitar, if it's lower, that's flat, and if it's too high, that's known as being sharp. So I like to think of it as like, say you walk into a room and you step on a tack, and you're going to jump up, and you're going to go, oh, that's sharp, okay? So if a note's too high, that's sharp, okay? And then if it's too low, if it's flat, say you walk back into the room and put your shoes on and you flatten it so the note goes flat, okay? So that's going to be how you can remember sharp and flat. And you can see I'm just tuning my guitar, and I'm going to put this up to the video. See that? See how that's going back and forth? If I can hold this thing right. Okay. So it's going to tell you that the note E, this is my E string, Eddie. Okay. And so what you want to do is you want to get that needle to where it just lights green in the middle. Okay. So you probably want to invest in a tuner, and they also have some tuners online that you can use. Or you would just have to listen to the pitch, so you'd have to have a pretty good ear to do that, though. But once you get your guitar in tune, it's pretty easy to use the tuner to get yourself in tune. So take the time to get your guitar in tune. That's very important. And so we went over the strings. The next thing you want to know is the frets, okay? These little metal pieces are your frets. And when we talk about frets, like say for example, someone will say, play the first fret, or the second fret, or the third fret. Think of frets as spaces. So your first fret would actually be this first space right here, okay? Second fret would be the second space, okay? And so on and so forth. So that way you won't get confused as to what fret you're at, okay? Just think of frets as spaces, okay? And then as far as your fingers go, you know, you got your thumb, first, second, third, and then your pinky, okay? So say, for example, if I say play first finger, first fret, first string. See, there you go, that's the first string. Oh, and that's the other thing too. As far as strings go, this is your first down here at the bottom. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, okay? So that way, you know, you just learn your finger placement. You know, you could have, okay, what about second finger, second fret, first string? See that? So you can think of it that way as far as navigating your way around the guitar, knowing where you want to put your fingers at. So that's critical, and eventually you'll get used to that. I'll probably be using that in a lot of the lessons and a lot of the students that I teach in real life, or that I'm teaching online for that matter. They, after a while, after a few weeks, they kind of get the hang of what finger, what fret is, and you know where they're going with it. But first, it's kind of confusing. And let's see, so we've got the tuning, frets, strings. That's about it for this introductory lesson. So sit down, get your guitar in tune, do your best, try to tune it every day, and you'll have like a lot more fun with the lessons. You know, what I tell a lot of my students too is like, you know, if you're a beginner and say you find other musicians to jam with, you know, it's hard to learn how to play an instrument, but you know, if you can at least be in tune, which I promise you, anybody can be in tune, okay? You just need to take the time to learn how to do it. Then that's great, because then, you know, if you go and play with somebody, you know, they'll go, oh yeah, that guy's pretty good, or that girl's pretty good, but, you know, boy, they sure were out of tune. You know, so don't do that. You know, you don't want to be a chump and and go playing with people and be out of tune. You know, just you know, that's a given, something you can do. So oh, and then plus, not to mention, it's going to sound really good too when you're playing, you know, so that's just, you know, just a given. So anyways, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate your support, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.